Hello, welcome back or welcome to my channel. It is Sunshine Lorena and this is going to be a reading vlog of me reading two of my January anticipated releases. So guys, it is the 10th of January, okay? The 10th of January. If you've seen my anticipated releases for the first 3 months of the year, you'll see that there is a lot in January. Also, it turns out that I have been approved for quite a few arcs this month, more than I thought I would, and I'm gonna have to switch up my TBR. So both of these not my TBR, one of which I kind of forgot about until like I did that video and I was like, oh yeah, which is Spare by Prince Harry. Now this morning I was like, yes, great, okay, well, I'm making breakfast, getting ready, I can start listening to it. But it wasn't there. It is, I've just checked and it's there now, so I am downloading. So I haven't yet started that one, which, as you know, it's Prince Harry's memoir. He is reading the audiobook. I am super excited. I love when people read their own memoirs because you get the story from them. You get their feelings. As everyone knows, it's been all over the press, there's been snippets. I am excited. I enjoy tea. I enjoyed the tea, I enjoy a little bit of drama, and I was like, I need to know what's in this book fully, you know, even though there's bits and pieces out there. I haven't watched his interview yet that he did with ITV. I need to watch that. And I haven't finished watching yet the documentary that him and Meghan did, but I'm intrigued to see what is in his memoir. It's just his story, whereas I know the documentary, of what I've seen so far, it's been more of Meghan's side rather than his. It's gonna be interesting to see what's all in his memoir. The second book that I'm going to be reading for this is How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. I got approved for the ARC after I filmed the releases video, and I just put a little note. I didn't upload it yet. I was like, oh, I've been approved. So yes, super exciting. It comes out on the 17th of January, so you know, I want to get this read. Like I said, it's one of my anticipated reads. I love Grady Hendrix books. I've read a few of them now. I've still got to go through some of his backlist. I really enjoy it. He does horror, if you don't know, but he does it in a comedic way. It's always very campy, and he has kind of those like references to like old horror films, etc., and I always seem to enjoy it. I really enjoyed Horror Store, which essentially is kind of like a haunted house story, except it takes place in an IKEA type furniture store. So I'm hoping that this is going to be like that. I am not too far into it now. I'm this 5% in. I started this morning. So this one follows Louise. There is also Mark, her brother. So she is like the oldest child. She's a good child, did everything right. Mark is the sibling who is the complete opposite. Like, he barely got out of high school. He keeps changing his mind in different ventures. Things keep failing. Yet, like, you know, the parents were always like, never want to hurt his feelings, etc. We get a little bit of introduction chapter, and then it jumps 5 years. The start of chapter 2 is like denial. So I think we're going to go through the different stages of grief. I think there's 6 or 7. So I just have a feeling that that's what we're going to get in this. So both the parents end up dying in a car accident, which means that Louise has to go back to her hometown. Her brother's there. They haven't spoken in like 3 years. They don't really get on, because he's always like doing stupid things, turning up drunk in places, and you know, she doesn't really speak to him. However, she needs to go back, obviously, because it's a funeral, but also they need to deal with their parents' house. And they need to empty things out, and she's obviously going to have to work with her brother to get this done. However, not all houses want to be sold, is what this premises says. So I am looking forward to it, to see what's going to happen in this. And yeah, that's it. These are the books that I'm reading for this vlog. I'm hopefully going to get them done by Saturday, I'd like to think. Prince Harry's audiobook is like almost 16 hours, but I always listen things faster, so hopefully I get that done. And I'll probably listen to that this evening only when I'm doing like dinner, etc., because I like to read audiobooks when I'm doing other things. I might start it earlier, let's see. But yes, I will be going to work shortly. I was planning on going to the office today. I went yesterday. I go about 2 times a week, but it's raining so much. It's windy. It's obviously raining now, and it's supposed to rain again when I would be coming home, and I just don't want to deal with that. So I will go to the office tomorrow. So I have more reading time today than anticipated, which is fantastic. And yeah, I will speak to you when I have more updates on these books, but I have high hopes for both of them. I have high hopes. Hi guys, it's the end of my lunchtime, so this is going to be like a real quick update. So first of all, I'm really not that far into Spare. I've only listened to the introduction, and I'm enjoying it. Great introduction. Love listening to Harry's voice, enjoying that. And then How to Sell a Haunted House. I'm now like 14% of the way through. It is proving to be quite a fast read. I mean, and we pretty much got the creepiness like straight away in this. And when Louise arrives in Charleston, and she ends up driving to her parents' house to go in and check. She's still in that denial stage, you know, she kind of needs to look and see things. And in that house, you get immediate creepiness, okay? So her mum, like, was like some sort of doll collector, okay? And like the descriptions, they sound so creepy. And then there's some like weird going on. So like the TV kept going on and off and etc. So there's something up with those dolls, guys. I'm sure of it. This is all very much within that first like few percent. Like it's not, you don't get too far into it, but immediate creepy vibes. And like when she goes around, there's certain things going on. There's something going on in that house. Second of all, we learned that this is the house that she grew up in, and actually it's been in her mother's family since Louise's grandfather. Yeah, I think her mum grew up there as well. Like he built this house in a plot, and around them, like everyone's building like these really big mansions now, and it's like the only kind of like shabby looking one on the street because they've never really upgraded or did anything extra. Yeah, so it is not like overly old either, but it is a house that she grew up in. So if it is haunted, I wonder like what happened, which I'm sure we'll get answered to this in the book at some point. The real reason why I picked up my camera now is because I just got a parcel. Okay, so Tandem Collective are starting a YouTube chat. They're going to be starting a YouTube channel. So they already do read-alongs on Instagram and there's some on TikTok, but they're now going to be doing them on YouTube. And I was kindly contacted by them to take part in their very first one. So the book has just arrived. Now, obviously, don't want to show you my address, but I love that it just came with fragile books. Handle with care. But yes, let's just open it together. I'm really excited to read this, and I will be including this. Like I mentioned, my TBR is going to be switching up. Yeah, so I'll be using it on my mixtape winter readathon. So you're going to see me reading it. I know that there's fun challenges as well to do throughout this. So you'll see that, and then I'm going to do like a full review on this. So, oh, there's some cute stuff in here. Wait a minute. Oh, okay, this is nice, guys. This is nice. Okay, so the book is Immune. First of all, this is stunning. This is like actually just gorgeous. And basically it's just around your immune system. It's a non-fiction. Read more non-fiction. I tend to always lean towards memoirs and autobiographies, and I want to read more useful non-fiction, actually learn something. And for those who don't know, my husband actually is a scientist. He has a PhD and he's been working as a scientist. He does work more with plants. He is doing a little bit more human biology now, but I tend to find myself in conversations with really smart science people. So this is really good just for me to first of all learn about my immune system, because you know I think it's really good to know what's going on and to be able to look after yourself and keep healthy, but also so that maybe I can add something to some conversations sometimes. The author is Philip Detmer and he has a YouTube channel, so I will be checking out some of that. But this is just gorgeous. This is gorgeous, and oh look, there are like illustrations in here, and I think this is going to be really fun. And it's going to be, like I said, there's going to be the creative prompts, but also, like I said, in this package there's a lot of things, because obviously it's about your immune system. So look, so there is some tissues, because obviously when your immune system's down you get sick. There is a lip balm, which I need because I keep losing mine, so definitely need that. And then there are some Fisherman's Friends blackcurrant. I have not had these in years, and that's what I smelled when I opened it. I've not had these in years. I could have done with these just before Christmas because I was unwell then. But yes. And then there are some teas. And I love trying different teas. I had a tea calendar for Christmas. So we have Feel New Organic Bio. Okay. So this is aniseed, fennel and cardamom. That sounds really interesting. Then we have elderberry and echinacea. I don't know if that's how you say that. It is got berries, etc. I think it'll be nice as well. We have nighttime. Oh, a night tea, yes. 3 mint. I love a mint tea, and lemon and ginger and manuka honey. So looking forward to trying those. So look out for my winter mixtape readathon vlog. So you'll see me reading that, and like I said, I'm going to do a review of that as well. But that's it for the moment, and yes, hopefully I will read more of Spare this evening while I'm making dinner, etc., and a bit more of How to Sell a Haunted House. Good morning guys, so it is Thursday the 12th of January. I'm going to be starting work shortly. I'm working from home today. Yesterday I was in office and like by the time I come home I only read a little bit, spoke to like my mum and then had to make dinner, and I just feel like this entire week I've just had no time because on Tuesday we went food shopping after work. Like it's just Monday, the gym, just like been so busy. And I just feel like I'm not actually even using my time. That's the worst thing, but it's okay guys. I'm working from home today. I'm gonna have more time. However, I do need to, before my reading update, I do need to finish editing my video that should have went up yesterday, and I hadn't done that because I had no time. So I will be finishing that off at lunchtime, like now before work, and then again at lunchtime, and I'll have it up by 5, guys. I'm gonna have it up by 5. Reading updates. So I've listened to a little bit more of Spirit this morning, but last night when I updated Storygraph, it said I was at 16% because you can put the audiobook times in there. I love Storygraph. It's so much better than Goodreads. Still use Goodreads, but like Storygraph is like amazing. And yes, I felt like I should have been further along, and I think it's because in Audible you can adjust the speed to however much you want, and I always listen to it faster. I'm currently listening to it at 1.75%, but it tells you how much time's left at the speed you're listening to. So I have like 7.5 hours currently, and I just felt like I should have been further through the book, but apparently I'm not. But I am enjoying it. The chapters are quite short, so it keeps you engaged. I like hearing it from Harry. You can hear his emotions and how he actually feels about these things that happen in his life. We're at the point where he's still in school, but he's in his later teenage years. I think it's up to about 2003 now. So you know, we're still going through that period. The first opening introductory chapter was good, well written. That is closer to present time, but not present time. It was after that chapter. That information was kind of after Prince Philip's funeral, so it's a little bit closer to the time now. And then he went back to his childhood, and he pretty much just picks up a little bit just before Prince Diana dies, because they had like this holiday, and he does like say his memories a little bit kind of spotty across that period of time. So it could be that, like, you know, his mind has been blocking things out, but he's like, I can't tell you specific conversations, what exactly what happened and what people said. So he's a child, you know, it's a traumatic event. So he took us through all of that and kind of how it felt for him, from what he remembers from it. And the thing is, and still up to the point that we're at now, he still kind of is holding on to this belief that his mother didn't actually die, that she just decided to disappear because she said she always wanted to disappear. And I feel like he never really got the help that he needed at that time, because I mean, they were children, and you know, the way they had to grieve was in the public eye. So I feel like, you know, they should have had more help than they did. So I think that obviously affected him, but he didn't mentally fully prepare, and he did pick up a conversation with like William, and he said no, like she wouldn't have done this to us. So that's kind of what you see throughout. You see that he goes to like school obviously, but he goes to boarding school. So the first year or so he's in this other school that he's been at for a few years, and then he goes to Eton, because it's only when you're slightly older that you go to Eton, like more exam age. William is there as well, but he basically said to him like, you don't know me, even though everyone obviously knows they're brothers, but he's like, you don't know me, because he's a few years older. He's had that time on his own where he hasn't had, like, you know, his little brother around, and it's kind of just how siblings are sometimes. And you know, when they're on holiday or when they're at home, he does speak to them, but it doesn't sound like they had like a super close brotherly relationship, at least at this stage that we're at. There's been some interesting bits and pieces as well. Obviously Camilla is like around in their lives, and that she had a conversation with William about things, and then mysteriously it ended up in the papers, and William didn't say anything, which means that the only other person who could have leaked that information was Camilla. And he was basically, you know, saying, and I've heard bits and pieces in the press that, like, you know, he's basically saying that she was like obviously trying to like change her image, you know. And he did mention that how him and William said, like, you know, be happy, Pa, you know, be happy, be with her, you know, enjoy her, but don't enjoy your life, but don't marry her. And then he said that he didn't really respond to it, and then it kind of sounds like Camilla like had a plan to kind of work things so that eventually he would marry her. They're not married at the stage that we are in at the book at the moment. Camilla has like what he calls like a spin doctor that obviously did the whole like William thing, leaking the conversation that they had, And then now this person is like advising Camilla and Prince Charles, or well, what was Prince Charles, now King Charles. Yeah, we're starting to get the media stuff now that he's a little bit older. Obviously they've been around, but it's starting now that where there's these stories that aren't true coming out, and maybe it's to make Prince Charles look better than he is. So that's where we're at, and I feel like I've been speaking ages about this, and I'm gonna have a tough time editing it. I'm 30% of the way into How to Sell a Haunted House. As you know, like the parents died, there's also the funeral thing. Classic siblings, they don't get on, the brother and sister, Louise and Mark, but you know, there's always like, sometimes with some families, it's obviously fights when it comes to like property and money, etc. So, you know, they're having to deal with things and how the will has come about. And the thing is, now we've had like the first like real like creepy haunting kind of scene in the house. And you know, Louise, it happened to Louise, and she's like in denial. I mean, she's the person that we're following mainly, but she's quite clearly in denial, like, oh, that can't have been what I saw, like it must have been this. So we're getting the first creepy scenes, and I'm enjoying it. It's going by really quick, super fast, and yeah, it looks like another great book from Grady Hendrix. And that's it. I need to do a little bit more editing, and then I'll be working, and I'll update you. I've got a feeling it's probably gonna be tomorrow because I'm not gonna read so much today that I'll have like a massive update for you. But yes, that's where we're at, and I will speak to you at some point. Hello, good morning. It's Saturday the 14th of January. I forgot what month we're in, and I'm just popping on to give you a little bit more of a reading update. So I have been listening to Spare again this morning, but last night I got to 47% because that's when I entered it in Storygraph and it told me the percentage, and I cannot be bothered to convert the hours, so it's around about 50% on my way through now. I'm still enjoying it. Seeing his different information. I do agree with what people have said about him talking about his kill count. It was a very small section, but you know, he didn't need to mention the number. You know, he could have said, I'll always remember the number, etc. But yes, we've gotten like his I've gotten to the point where we've seen his 2 tours when he was at the army, the different relationships again with, and then the media constantly hounding him and how things have come out. So it is very much against the media. He's spoken a little bit more about his relationship with his brother, when, you know, they spent a period of time where they were living together when they were both training, and yeah, and a little bit about Kate, but not too much actually about the other members of the royal family, a little bit about his father, not too much about the Queen. He's been very quiet on that. So and then I've gotten past the part of the torture, guys, and if you've been reading the stories, you know the torture bit and the frostbite. So yes, there's some things that like, I was like, did you need to inform us of this? Because I feel like it just doesn't add to like your narrative here. But anyway, in terms of How to Sell a Haunted House, I am now 68% of the way through, and we are right in the action bit. So if you've ever read a Grady Hendrix book, it always comes to a point where like there's just like the action happens. You have the build up, the horror element, it was all building up, and now we're at the point of like, we're in the action, like stuff is happening, guys, and it's so good. I'm enjoying it so much. There's been one chapter where we got the perspective from Mark, and it's because it was important to the story to hear something that happened from his perspective. It was necessary. I don't want to say obviously to like ruin and reveal the stuff. It was necessary, but I didn't enjoy his chapter as much in the sense of how he spoke. I think I prefer listening to Louise as the narrative, but it was necessary for us to get his perspective. And yes, but we're right in the action. I'm really enjoying it, guys. I'm really enjoying it. At this point, I'm thinking it's gonna be a 4-star. It could end up being higher, I don't know, we'll see, but it's good, guys. It is so good. Today is the day that I need to start reading Immune. The read along is starting, so I will be starting to read this a little bit, but I'll wait till this evening. But with, you know, Spare and How to Sell a Haunted House, I'm going to try and read as much as possible of those. However, you would have seen that I made panna cotta yesterday, guys. We've got friends coming for lunch, so I'm doing bits and pieces now, so it'll be like late afternoon, evening more that I'll be reading. And then tomorrow's the start of winter mixtape readathon. It's 2 weeks, it's very chill, but I feel like both of these books I have read too far into them to count them to that TBR personally. My personal feeling, like I've went over 50%, so it's just like I've read more outside the readathon than inside the readathon. So I really want to try and get these done. But I also want to vlog that. So we'll see how this works out. But yes, that is it, and I need to try and film, guys. This evening I'm going to actually try and film just a, hey, I've reached 500 subscribers. I don't know if I mentioned in this vlog. I'm super happy. I'm now at 510. Like, you guys, I am so happy. So I'm gonna do like a little like thank you and like have prosecco, and then just put that with a book haul that I was gonna film anyway, and I might get that one up tomorrow because this vlog is obviously not gonna be ready to go up tomorrow. This will be like Wednesday. But yes, we'll see. I've been talking for a while now. I need to finish get things ready for the lunch, and I will update you when I have further updates. But How to Sell a Haunted House, guys, if you like horror, you need to read it. You need to read it. So it is Monday the 16th of January, and I finished How to Sell a Haunted House yesterday, and I finished Spare this morning. And I'm going to give you final thoughts on both of them. I'm going to start with How to Sell a Haunted House. So this, 5 stars, guys. 5 stars. I, really do enjoy Grady Hendrix books when I read them, and this is now my favourite one that I've read. I found this more creepy than the other ones that I read by him, and I think he does the haunted house trope really well, and it's done in a different way from other haunted house books that I've read. I really enjoyed it. I really connected with the characters of Louise and Mark. I think there's strong character development throughout this, and you get the full story. There were twists in this that I did not see coming, guys. Did not see coming. I'm going to tell you that. So I'm going to tell you that there's twists that came that I just didn't see coming, and they were so good. Well done. He really, really well crafted the story, kept you engaged throughout, and it was a really quick read because I was like, I need to know what happens. The creepiness in this, so good. He really hits it on the head, hits it on the nail on the head. How is the saying? He really hits it so right. And yeah, I just really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the conclusion. It is a good book. I definitely recommend. My favourite Grady Hendrix, like I said. I think the second one is Horror Store. I really enjoyed it, which also has kind of haunted house vibes. And yes, it's good. So this was my 4th Grady Hendrix. So yeah, I still need to pick up Southern Book Club, which I have heard really good things about. So we'll have to see how that one goes. But really enjoyed this, really recommend. It's coming out tomorrow as I'm saying this, so this review will probably be up on Wednesday. But yes, I really enjoyed it, recommend. It's a great horror book. I do pick up horror, but I don't really tend to pick up a lot of new released horror, but I'm so glad I got this one, guys. So glad, so good. Okay, and now on to Spare and my final thoughts. So first of all, I cannot remember if I've mentioned this before, but I tend not to rate memoirs, autobiographies, because then I kind of feel like I'm rating somebody's personal story. I only rate it when there is something about it that's been like, I don't know, I've connected in some way, or something exceptional about the writing. There's very rarely that I will give a memoir or biography a star rating. One of the exceptions is Trevor Noah's Born a Crime. Stories of My South African Childhood is one of the few exceptions which I gave 5 stars. Read it twice. That is on its own. But let's come back to Spare. So I am not giving a rating. And speaking of ratings, what I think is really unfair what's happened with this book is that if you go on Goodreads, you will see that there's ratings that happen that people have put up long before the book came out, like across autumn, and like 1 star, etc. When 1, they haven't read the book, 2, they're just basing it on their own personal opinions of Prince Harry or Meghan or both. And I don't think it's really fair to do that with someone's book. Regardless of what your opinion is of that person, I really don't think it's fair just to put bad ratings when you haven't even read it. I think it's really unfair to do that to someone. no matter who they are. I just think that's really unfair. In terms of finishing up on In Spare, I think, you know, we get the full story up until autumn, when the Queen passed away. So you get that's the final kind of epilogue, is that section, and his feelings and thoughts when he went through that. I think, you know, they gave a lot of details. I do feel like you don't get as much with his relationship with his family. You do get bits and pieces, but you don't get a lot. He's given us information, but he hasn't really went into detail and specifics. There's certain things, and I have seen in the media that apparently there's like, he said that there's more, you could have released way more, and I do feel like there probably is a lot more that could have been written. But I think he, you know, gives information from their perspective, their thoughts and feelings. And yeah, I do feel like the last few years was quite short in terms of the book, but I'm listening to audio, so it could be that it just feels that way when I was listening to it. But yeah, he gives all these thoughts and feelings. It was interesting to see things that we didn't know about him, about how he went to therapy, and all these different things. So I do think you get a good broad, you know, overview of his life, of the things that they've went through. And yeah, like I said, I just think people have been really unfair with his book without having read it. I did enjoy reading it, just seeing his perspective, because, you know, you have the media's perspective. We have seen bits and pieces of their perspective, but I feel like it's been more about Meghan rather than Harry, and we didn't really know what he went through throughout his life. Personally, what he went through from the time of his mother's death up until now, you know, it has really impacted him throughout his life. So I think that was really interesting. And yeah, I'm glad I picked it up. Glad I did the audiobook where he read it. I do think, like I said, I do like his voice, but I do think I've done other memoirs on audiobook by the authors, and they'd be more engaging, more impactful with their voice, telling their story than he did. But, you know, it's not something he's used to doing, whereas I feel like the ones I've enjoyed are people that obviously are in the limelight as well, but they're maybe being, like with Trevor Noah, he's a comedian. He's used to speaking to people all the time, speaking on camera, etc. That's his job. Or like Michelle Obama. I feel like those people had more public speaking exposure than Harry, because he did do little bits, but I feel like as part of the royal family, you don't tend to speak for a long time. It's very like short kind of bits and pieces. I think he still did a good job narrating it. It's just, I feel like I got more, with other people, I've got more emotions when they've read their memoirs. I suppose that's what I'm trying to say here. But yes, I have enjoyed reading it. And that's it. That's it for this reading vlog featuring January releases. I've enjoyed both of them. And yeah, I'm hopefully going to do other vlogs like this with like new releases in that month, so you get my opinions and review all in one. Let me know which ones you want to see, if there's any upcoming releases you think I'd enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Bye!